Okay, this video is going to show you how I and pretty much all my customers turn credit cards into cash. I mean, keep in mind we can do every type of funding under the sun, but this is the cheapest and pretty much the best in my opinion. This is going to be a two-part video where I just explain briefly what's going on in the first 3 to 4 minutes, and then I'll get into more detail about, for people that just want a little more detail. But before I do that, I like to, we do a lot of real estate people, but whether you do it or not, I'll get into this in a minute. I'm saving $17,000 a year on my first 100 grand that I have in play. Off about an hour and a half a year's worth of management. Everybody thinks this is some big complex, oh my God, I'm telling you, I spend about an hour and a half a year to save 17 grand. And there's a lot of other benefits. So that's what's at stake here. But all we do is this. We turn cards into cash in these ways. Some of these cards will give you checks. Some of them you cash advance, which sounds scary, but it's pretty much free. In a lot of instances, some people even PayPal, or some people, a lot of the credit unions we use, which our competitors don't because they're a pain in the neck and they have 5 steps to get it set up. But if they'll give you a $20,000 card, you can call them and say, just take that $20,000 and put it in my checking account. And it instantly turns it into a credit card debt and you've got cash. So the problem is, what you have to remember is you turn one card into cash, you can turn them all into cash. And here's how we do it. You either write yourself the check or your business. I mean, I usually would just write myself, the business, a check. Then I list my balance transfer options. I have this Excel. You can download it on this page. You can use the exact Excel. If you fill it out, I'll even help you. But this basically lists out all my balance transfer options, and I'll go over that in the detailed part of this in just a second. But I basically transfer it over, which frees up this line. Say this is a $25,000 card. I transfer this over there. That means I got the $25,000. I can just write myself another check or transfer the money again. And then once I have it loaded up again, I'll balance transfer to another one. These cards right here are 0% for 12 months, 0% for 20 months. So, I mean, it's a huge thing. I mean, you can turn them to cash and get cheap interest rates. This is the cheapest money in the world. A real life scenario is somebody I've just helped flip their first house, and this is the best way to flip your first house. Is we got literally a bunch of $25,000 and $30,000 cards. He wrote his business a check for 25. 2 days later, he balance transferred at 0% for 12 months. Went right back, wrote himself another check for 25. Balance transferred again at like 0% for 18 months. Wrote himself a third check. He got 75 grand in cash. Went out and got to bid in cash. Got to buy the house free and clear. Which, if you've done this before, realtors look at cash a lot different. And I would, if anything ever hit the fan, I'd rather own the house free and clear than and worry about a credit card company than somebody with a lien on my house. And he had a year to figure out how to flip this house. And it didn't take him a year, but man, he saved a lot of interest. So that's all he did was balance transfer to B, C, and D. And I mean, it's a great way to get going. So that's all we're doing. You need, what you'll end up doing, and I'll start to get into the longer part of this video, and you can download this Excel, is I list every card. I use this exact one for myself, except it's down to about here now. But I list out every card I have, what the options are, and, how long they're giving me balance transfers, and, I'll go over that in just a second. The thing that people need to realize is, I know a lot of people look at this and they think it seems like a pain in the neck. I'm telling you, it's not, and even if it was, it'd be worth it. If you're spending hard, let's just say I was getting to the point where I would take possession of a house, rehab it, get a buyer, close on it within 90 days there. So if I'm doing that, I'm basically doing 4 homes a year on that 100 grand. Let's just say I have 100 grand in play. That's 14% in points. This doesn't count all the BS fees that these hard money people charge you. But that's 14% there per year because you've done it 4 times. Plus, you're paying 27% for that hard money, plus all the fees, plus all the other BS you have to put up with. I'm not saying hard money doesn't have its place in a lot of markets, but if you're starting out and you have the option to do the first thing, I would definitely look at the other thing. And me, I still use hard money because, I mean, I can only get up to 250 grand really in this unsecured funding. So, if you're going to have more houses than that, it's good. But per 100,000 I use, I'm saving around 17 grand a year because even after my fees, which are on the back only if we get you money, blah, 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 and including maybe some of the balance transfer fees that you might have to pay here and there, even though we do have free balance transfers at a lot of these places, I mean, it's around 4.3% unsecured. So to me, it's worth doing. The way that I do it is basically this, and you can download this Excel below. If you look at the link that says click here to download Excel, I basically get every card in. Well, let's, keep in mind everybody's seen, let me get that. Everybody's seen one of these. You can get most of your information on here, what they're charging. So it comes with every credit card. So this is what I use to fill out most of it. Sometimes I do need to call the bank to ask them certain questions. But you can get most of your information from that. First thing I want to know is, does it have a 0% balance transfer offer? Or, sometimes it might be 2.9%. Then I want to know when the end date is. I put the months here because who knows when you're watching this video. Then I want to know if they charge a balance transfer fee. Keep in mind they have a balance transfer fee and a balance transfer rate. I just put it over here, for cash advance. I'm sorry, they have a balance transfer fee and rate, and they have a cash advance fee and rate. So I don't even really use cash advances, but some people do. It doesn't really matter. Just so you know, the cash advance rate, I don't care because I never pay it. I balance transfer it out before that interest rate even hurts me. They also have cash advance fees, which people don't like to pay the word fee, but I mean, if you're paying 3% sometimes, a lot of them have no fees as an introductory thing. But if, as you go forward, I have people that have been doing this for 3 years, just chasing more, because this is what they offer now. The more cards you get and the more that you're in the system as Mr. Balance Transfer, you're going to get more offers and you'll probably pay the fees. But if I pay 3% to borrow stuff for 20 months, I mean, they can have their 3%. I'd love to pay that. But I keep track of all that. Balance transfer, how long is the 0%? Are they going to charge me a fee to transfer into the card? What is the rate after the card? I never really pay that, so I don't really care. You might say, oh man, it's balanced. It's 0% for 10 months, and then I got to pay 20%, but I've never paid it. What you'll end up doing is balance transferring that right again to some other new offer, because you'll get a plethora of them, or just balance transfer to a lower rate. I mean, I've never paid anything close to that, but what I want to know on some of these things is, do they offer checks? Now, if they don't send you checks, you might want to call them. Some of these places do offer checks where you can just write your LLC a check. It kind of makes it easy. You might call them and ask. A lot of the credit unions do this. You can just transfer it right to your bank account. I mean, if they give you a $20,000 card, they'll put $20,000 in your bank account. They don't even charge a cash advance fee. These are all real cards, by the way. These are actual real cards I've gotten people here this week. So they don't even charge a damn fee. You can just tell them, put the 20 grand in my account. Now, they might charge a cash advance rate that's high. I don't care, because I'm just going to balance transfer it about 2 days later, probably to this guy. This is going to be my first one because I'm getting 20 months. I'll pay the 3% fee. I'll take 20 months at 0% for a 3-point fee. That's just how I am. If you do the math, I mean, some of these have no fees at all, and you might use them. It just matters how much money you need. So some of them have a cash advance limit. I get 1 or 2 cards that I can turn to cash, and I just use them over and over. But I put it on here just for the heck of it. Some of them don't let you take all the money in cash advance, but it really doesn't matter because you cash advance and then transfer, and cash advance and then transfer. But you really want to find the cards that'll let you put it in the checking account or write checks. Is the most convenient way. I keep track of what the fees are, and then I kind of, really, I break the cards down into 2 type of cards. Ones that I can turn to cash easily, which I don't want to balance transfer into because I want to keep using them to turn to cash, turn to cash, turn to cash, and ones that are just good for balance transfers that are giving me a good time. So like this card right here, it's a good turn to cash card. It's got no cash advance fee. It lets me have checks. So even though it's cool because it has no balance transfer fee, I'm never really going to use that. I'm just going to write myself checks and then transfer it out. So this is a good turn to cash card. And some people only need one of them. This card would be a good balance transfer card because look, it charges a fee. It doesn't let you get a bunch of cash advances. You can't even get checks. You can't transfer to checking account. Oh no, what is this card good for? I got to pay a fee. But man, you're getting 20 months at 3%. Still awesome. I mean, turn this one into cash and transfer it over here, pay the 3 points, and just consider yourself, paying about 1 point something percent per year for interest. That's all I do. It's not that complicated. If you do the math, this isn't just like in all real estate. There's no silver bullet. Oh, if Grandpa will just give you, $500,000 to go flip houses, I'd start with Grandpa. If for the rest of us, this is what you have to do. I promise you. I set all these things up on automatic payment. I put in my logins and passwords on here, and I mean, make sure if you do that, you protect it with a password so nobody can just come open your Excel just to be safe. But I put all my information in here. I mean, I put you know, the secret questions and everything else. So you get one of these things, and you fill it out like this. I promise it'll pop out to you. You can turn, you know, the majority of your money into cash cheaply and quickly, most of the time. I mean, my service is getting you the money, and you know, we usually discuss what we want to do. So you know, I get a game plan ahead of time. But this is a good way to flip houses. Don't freak out about it being tough or hard. It really isn't. You just have to, you know, set it up for about an hour, and then I log in about once every. I put on my Google Calendar, hey, it's, you know, it's hard to remember 2 years from now that the balance transfer option's ending. So I'll put on my Google Calendar to check this out. But you know, normally it's paid down by then. That's how we turn cards to cash. It's not hard. It's worth doing if you really do the math. If you need more help with this, you know, outside of the fees we charge to get you the money, you know, just out of my own, it's not part of our service, but I'm happy to help anybody that we've done business with. If they fill this out, I'll tell you what I would do if you need more help at this point. Thanks.